So today I will be going through the ROS node configuration step by step. So let us start. So this is the manual for step-by-step instructions, and let's dive in. For step one, you should just examine through the spreadsheet, so you can find out the nodes that are in progress or completed. So just select the one which is not started. And okay, so today we are doing this object range splitter from perception. Let us switch over to our VS Code. So for step one, we have just selected a node and put down our name and select the status as in progress. So moving on for the step two, so you can just examine one of the finished works. You can easily go through so what is being changed. So basically, to summarize, we will be changing the source code just for the parameters. So we will be eliminating these default values from source code. So instead, we will be giving this default values from a parameter file like this. And then also we will make sure that each of these declare parameter has a specific variable type. And that's all from the source code actually. So for the parameter file, so as I said, we will be just populating these parameters with the default values. And the last part will be to having a separate schema file, which defines and also has the description for each of the ROS parameter, let's say. Okay, so let us start our actual work. For the step 3, we will just examine each of the declare parameter function. So for our node, we have only one declare parameter function. So as you can see, we have this default value. So I'm just removing this one. So in this case, we have this variable type defined already. So if not, you can just put a variable type into this field. You can easily find out which type this variable should be from either from README or from the parameter file, if it exists, of course. So in this case, we don't have any parameter file. Okay. So as I said, we just removed the default value, and I'm just moving this default value into this parameter file. So for generating a parameter file, we will just create a config directory. In there, we will just creating a param.yaml file, starting with the ROS node's name. So let us find the parameter template. So you can easily access this parameter link from the manual also. So this is the parameter file as a template. I'm just copying this into my parameter file and also copying this parameter name and copying the default value from its previous value. So now we are done with the parameter file also. Okay, so let us switch over to the next step, which is to create a schema file. To create a schema file, we will just create a new directory called schema. So you can also find out the schema template again. This is a schema template. So I'm just copying this into our new schema file. The naming convention is the same with the parameter file. So I'm just ending it with a schema.json instead of param.yaml. Okay. Now we will just populate this schema file according to our ROS nodes parameter. So let us look side by side. So since we have only one parameter, so I'm just removing this second parameter. So we will just populate this uppercase wordings, by the way. So I'm just giving the ROS node's name, and for the type, I'm giving a number. So be careful about this type because it is not like it is not defined as default C and C++ types. So you will be just choosing from these types. So for the number, be it integer or double or float, so it doesn't matter. You can just choose number. For the string, you can just type a string. For the boolean, it is just a boolean. Let us copy the default value. Okay. So in this case, I'm just removing this one because this needs to be the ROS node's name instead of the parameter name. In this case, we just giving object range splitter. For the title, you can just give like the parameters. So ROS node name and the parameters. So if you have any bound values, which is defined in the README file, if you just find the parameters, so yeah, if you can see like any bounds defined in the README file, you can just give it in here. But if not, you will just remove this line. Okay, so yeah, for the description, again, you can find this description in the README file. I'm just copying that one. So now we are finished with the schema file. So this schema file defines the parameters for the object range splitter, and it's done. So let us check again with the JSON schema that is defined in the Autoware documentation side. So it is looking fine. Okay, so next step will be to double check the parameter file. Since we have already defined the parameters in the separate parameter file, so we have done this part also. By the way, you can also create a parameter file with a different approach if you can follow these lines. But in this case, we will just add this parameter file manually. So the last step will be to update the README file. As you can see, for the README, we have a section called parameters. So I'm just removing these parameters, which is manually written. I will be just copying these lines again to the parameters and just editing those uppercase letters again. I'm giving the correct path. So our starting root directory, in this case, autoware.universe. So perception, and object range splitter. Then the schema, then the object range splitter dot schema. So I'm just copying this line. Okay. So, and the README file is also complete. So this predefined function will also automatically populate this parameters field in the README file. So this means that we will have like single source of truth for the parameters for the specific node. So you can find like some nodes if you just bumped upon like some different issues regarding updating README file. So you can find out some nodes. Also, you can share your questions in the Discord channel also. Okay, so the last step will be to build and test the node again. For this, we are going to the root directory of the Autoware. And for building the ROS node, actually we could use this colcon build command with packages up to option. I'm giving the name of the ROS node. So as you can see, build has finished. So that means that we don't have any problems with the source code. So next thing will be to launch the ROS node with the new parameters. So coming to that, the last edit maybe from your side should be to make sure launch file using those parameters from the actual parameter file. In our case, the parameter path is already defined as this parameter file. So as you can see, it is going into the config and the object range splitter parameter file. So it is using the parameters from that file by the param argument in the XML file. So we are done with the launch file also. But in your case, maybe you should make sure that you're using this parameter file for launching your node. So only thing to do in this case, just give this parameter argument with the correct path of your parameter file. So you could leverage the find package share to find your ROS node within the Autoware repository. So once it finds the ROS node, then it will go to the config directory and just select this parameter file. And that's it. So you don't need to touch anything from the remap of the topics. So they just should reside as is. So the last step will be to launch our node with the new parameter file. So for that, you need to source this install file from the root directory of the Autoware. So source install setup.bash. So ignore these errors from the bash file and just go to the exact path which the ROS node resides. So now let us launch our node with its specific launch file, which is defined in the launch directory. So as you can see, there is no errors thrown, and that means that we have concluded validation of our settings with the new parameter file.